What's up, everyone? Matt Gajewski here, back again with the Odd Shopper channel. Today, we're talking some college football betting ahead of Week 8. It's the Thursday slate doubleheader. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. That helps us a lot, so if you've done that, thank you. It does mean a lot to us. And our presenting sponsor is Bet365. They have a deal for those of you in Kentucky, Ohio, New Jersey, Virginia, Iowa, Colorado, Louisiana, Indiana, Arizona, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. What you'll do is click the link below, make your first deposit, then make a $5 wager on any game, could be a side or a total, whether it wins or loses. You will get $200 in the form of bonus bets. You must be 21 or older, 18 in Kentucky. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. These deals do not come around often and they do not stick around often. So if you have the chance and you haven't already, take advantage of this. All right, doubleheader on deck. Let's go to our live odds screen for college football behind the glass. Again, it is a doubleheader today. I guess tomorrow. I'm recording this on Wednesday. But we have one game in the Sun Belt, Georgia State taking on Marshall. And then we have an ACC tilt between Boston College and Virginia Tech. I'm on the fence of betting both these games right now at these numbers you see on the screen. We'll get into it, but perhaps talking through will help me, and whatever you guys think in the comments, hopefully that can lean me one way or another. But let's start with the Sun Belt tilt. Georgia State and Marshall, two teams that have been up and down this year. We have the 2-3 Georgia State traveling. They are facing Marshall, who's 3-3. The spread is at 9.5 in some spots now, and you can find a total for this game sitting at 51. Which is a little interesting. Pace is pretty good in this game. Georgia State is 20th, and they're running a version of the air raid. They have a 62% pass rate. Marshall's 80th in pace, so they're around average, but their pass rate is much lower, 42.5%. So perhaps that's why. But both these teams have quarterback issues, which is weird because I don't know if any of their quarterbacks have been bad. They definitely haven't been good, but it's been relatively average. Let's start with Georgia State running the air raid. They've been without their wide receiver one now, Talik Williams, but Christian Velo, 58.5% completion for 6.5 yards per attempt. He has 5 interceptions on 7 turnover-worthy plays. He's not like making a difference, but he's not really hurting the offense that much either. Zach Gibson has only thrown 6 attempts this year. He's completed every single one. So perhaps there is some merit to giving a look to Gibson. We just haven't seen him. So I don't know. But the offensive line provides a decent foundation. They're 60th in pass blocking, 84th in run blocking. Again, the receiver should be pretty good. If Talik Williams comes back, they'll be even better. But right away, that's been an issue for them, so I don't want to blame all of that on Velo. And then this team doesn't have a good defense, so they're often in shootouts, which is another reason why the over was semi-intriguing to me at a 51. You look at their defense, they're 106th overall, 101st in run defense, 85th in pass rush, 105th in coverage. They don't really do anything well. They don't have a lot of injuries on defense either, so it's concerning. This is just their starting group coming out there and letting teams have success. You look at what they've allowed so far this year. Some of it is against good teams, but Georgia Southern scored 38 points on them. So yeah, you'll give up 36 to Vanderbilt. You give up 35 to Georgia Tech. Those are better opponents. But then you get into conference and Georgia Southern scores 38. The defense is a concern. For Marshall, they also have QB concerns. Stone Earl and Braylon Braxton have been splitting time, and both these guys have been pretty good. Both of them can run. Braxton is at 7 yards per carry. Earl is at 3.6, both above 200 yards on the ground. They only combine for 4 turnover-worthy plays, and it's kind of like what we said with Georgia State. Braxton has had better efficiency. It's on a very small sample. But 8.9 yards per attempt to Stone Earl's 5.5. It looks like there just might be a bigger explosive element to the offense with Braxton. I still don't understand why they're rotating QBs. We'll see if one of them gets the nod for a full-time role. I hope it's Braxton. But their offensive line is a good foundation as well. It's even a little better than Georgia State's. They're 43rd in pass blocking, 66th in run blocking. They've also been down their number one receiver, Elijah Metcalf, so not working with the full skill group, which is a problem. I mean, these offenses are very similar. Quarterback problems, good offensive lines, bad skill position players across the board. The big difference in these two teams is Marshall is 27th on defense. Again, Georgia State 106, so this is a big gap. Then the only weakness on Marshall, they're actually a very imbalanced defense. They're third in coverage, 32nd in pass rush, 116th against the run. Well, you're facing an air raid, so this should be a very good stylistic matchup for Marshall to defend Georgia State. I don't know. It's just tough laying nearly 10 points in the Sun Belt with two teams I think that are pretty decent overall. Again, the over has me somewhat intrigued. It's been coming down, so there's obviously no incentive to bet this right now if it's at like a 50.5 or a 51. But right now, I tentatively side with the Georgia State and an over. We'll see if I end up playing either of those. It's kind of tricky. The second game I have a little more interest in. It is Boston College taking on Virginia Tech, a 7-point spread in favor of the home team, the Hokies. Total in this game is 48.5. That one makes a little more sense to me. Pace is okay. Boston College is 106, so they'll try to slow it. They're a little below average. Virginia Tech is 53rd. They're a little above average. Those sort of clash together, but neither team passes much, 42.5% for BC, 43.5% for Virginia Tech. Really tough games to parse through. Boston College has been pretty solid in some spots. They obviously, beat Florida State. That doesn't mean much anymore, but they played the close game to Missouri. They ended up losing. They beat Michigan State, who's a corpse. They should have lost to Western Kentucky, but their backup quarterback was in the game, and then they did lose to Virginia, a game they absolutely gave away. They had the advantage in yards per play, but they had 3 turnovers. So it was just a mess of a game. Virginia Tech has been really similar. They lost to Vanderbilt. That one's starting to look better and better. But then their wins are against Stanford, Old Dominion, and Marshall. Just the worst group of opponents you could possibly play. They lost to Rutgers. That win is starting to look worse. And they got a weird call at the end of the Miami game. So perhaps you could argue they should have won. But what I'm trying to say is this is volatile for both teams heading into this game. We have not got what we've expected many times, sometimes positive, sometimes negative. When you look at these players, I think we have slightly better quarterback play from Kyron Drones, and it's mainly the turnovers. He's 5 turnover-worthy plays to Castellanos' 7. He's also doing a little bit more. With Castellanos, the yards per attempt is very good at 9.8, but he's also causing more turnover-worthy plays. So I think you get a little more with the arm from Castellanos. Drones has better rushing. He's at 4 yards per carry to Castellanos, 1.9, 278 rushing yards to Castellanos, 103. But the foundation is much better for Boston College. They're 10th in pass blocking, 16th in run blocking. Virginia Tech's been a mess on the offensive line, 81st in pass blocking, 96th in run blocking. And that's affected everything. Boston College recently has increased their running back rotation. Even a guy like Turbo Richards is now involved. It doesn't matter. Their foundation is so good. Whether it's Robichaud, Ward, Richards, they can all run the ball. And Virginia Tech just doesn't have that. The skill position players have been lacking. Part of that maybe because Allie Jennings has been hurt. But Bashal Tootin is not getting blocked many yards, and he's having to do everything on his own, which has been tough. He's gotten banged up because of this. Then you turn to the defensive side of the ball. BC's 24th, Virginia Tech is 73rd. Run defense, BC's 15th. Virginia Tech is 97th. Both these teams like to run the ball. It's a better matchup for BC. Pass rush, this is decidedly Virginia Tech advantage, 10th to 69. But again, BC is the better offensive line neutralizing that. And then in coverage, Virginia Tech is 90th. Boston College is 46th. I will say they did just lose their best corner. So perhaps this is closer than we think. But ultimately, this is a lot of edges Boston College's direction. They're on the road. Blacksburg is never easy to play in. And I've said this many times before with Boston College, and then they've turned right around and lost games. That'll happen when you have 2 quarterbacks that aren't the best, especially throwing the ball, and they get in these dicey matchups, which are coin flips. So I lean Boston College. This 7.5 on the screen is a little interesting to me. I would be interested in playing this. It's juice, which I don't like, so I'm going to wait and see if this doesn't take some extra money throughout the day. But my favorite play right now is BC. It would have to be a 7.5. We'll see where it goes. But as the day goes on, I may end up taking this. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. It means a lot. Betting U is out with the main games. We will be recording the greasy slate soon. So if you have a request, leave it in a comment or reach out to me on Twitter at Matt_Gajewski. Otherwise, we'll be back soon with more games. Until then, good luck, and we'll see you later.